So, hi everyone. I'm waiting for my other friends. But before that, I can introduce myself. My name is Sofia Lindskog, and we are going to discuss the topic having global sustainability as a business model. What does that mean? Please stay tuned, come back, and listen to my fantastic friends that are soon on stage. I work within KPMG in a role where I'm responsible for our focus on emerging giants. It may sound like I have given myself a superhero title, Emerging Giants Leader. The superpower would be if I can be a trusted partner for startups and scale-ups that are eager to change the world. And I say, let's be superhero together when my friends are entering the stage. They are soon here. Please, join me. Thank you. Thank you. Max is arriving also. So I think that we can be superheroes together by aligning our most sustainable investors with the best sustainability business ideas and support them with sustainable service providers.
Vad långt ifrån.
Hey.
Hey. Sorry, I will introduce you.
Yes.
Thanks.
So I should introduce myself. Yeah.
Yeah, you can introduce yourself. Yeah, we are coming back to that, but if you want, yeah.
Just my name is Max. I'm one of the founders of PlasticFri.
My name is Josefine, and I'm representing KPMG here today.
Oscar Westergård from Antler.
And I'm John Elvesjö from node.vc.
So as you can hear, really cool superheroes here, and together we can do magical things. We are going to discuss today, we're going to dig into sustainability potential and business performance. What do you value the most when looking into investments? And what do startup and scale-ups look for when it comes to investors and service providers? It's of course a two-way street of expectations and evaluations. It's about what is creating those healthy relationships. And we have those who can invest with the capital, and we have those who can make that capital work towards creating a better world. More money does not always have to mean an increased pace of scaling up. Investments is more than that. It's about common values, connections, and purpose when going to find the right partner. Before we dive into this topic, you have said your names, but please, introduce you a bit more. Who are you? What are you doing? And what are you most excited to talk about today? We can start with Max.
So I'm one of the founders of a company that is called PlasticFri. We work with offering and developing eco-friendly and plant-based alternative to plastics. So what I'm really most excited about today is to present a little bit more in depth what we do, but also have a discussion, learn, and getting inspired from the other side of the table, from the investment side, but also how we can collaboratively make the change that we want to see in the world happen.
Thank you, Max. Josefine.
Yeah, I am here today since I think I share kind of a strong personal trait, and that is that I am very curious. My curiosity is something that takes me as an auditor at KPMG to new adventures with my clients, and I get to, from a front row seat, follow their curiosity in their journeys of running and developing their businesses. And I think that is a couple of those parameters that are now in the position that they are going to have to tackle this new and exciting area that is sustainability.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Oscar?
Sure. Oscar Westergård with Antler. Antler is a global early-stage venture capital firm. We invest from day zero up to Series A and onward. So we support entrepreneurs, finding co-founders, validating their business models, solving big problems, and helping them to scale across the globe. And here in the Nordics, we have invested in 180 companies, 1,000 companies globally, and around 43% of those are sort of impact companies.
Fantastic.
And I'm super excited to talk about some big problems to solve and how entrepreneurs unleash the power they have, and combining that with capital and a global platform like Max is doing with PlasticFri, taking on huge challenges and with entrepreneurial drive, it's getting that to work.
Yeah, thank you. John.
Yes, hi everyone. My background is as an entrepreneur myself, being an entrepreneur for 20 years before becoming a full-time investor. With a team of ex-entrepreneurs and company builders, we have put together node.vc with a fantastic team. And we have a new fund looking to meet young entrepreneurs, or young companies, I should say, to see where we can find the next stars of entrepreneurship. I'm here today also to hear a bit more from Max and to sort of dig into your business a bit and look at what sort of challenges you might have, because you're up against some really interesting competition as well on the global scale, and also hopefully killing a few myths on around sustainability and impact and sort of what it is and what it isn't, and how we as investors sort of view that. Yeah.
Great. Thank you so much. Really looking forward to more discussions. But first, Max, you know I like to call you magicians with your brother Alan to what you're doing. You're inventing plastic-free disposable products that breaks down into harmless components within weeks. You tend to answer, well, we're not magicians, we're simply engineers. And that might be true, but can we at least agree upon that you are a superhero also? Maybe.
Very, very kind.
Thank you. So Max, please give it away and tell us a bit about your background and plastics-free's journey that you are embarked upon, but also the hard work that has led to 2 awards. The first one, the world's most innovative sustainability startup among 1,400 companies worldwide, and also just recently this week, Prince Daniel's fellowship. That's worth an applaud, and Prince Daniel is also here. That's fantastic. So Max, please.
Thank you. I hope the slides will come up. Yes, perfect. All of the plastic that has ever been made still exists today in some form. Half of all the plastic that has ever been made have been manufactured in the past 2 decades. That is in our lifetime. Plastics will outpace coal in driving climate change by 2030. And if that wasn't enough, recently scientists found microplastics and nanoplastics both in the blood as well as heart tissue of human beings. Just 3 weeks ago, a research was published that the normal bottled water that you buy in supermarket contains up to 400,000 microplastic particles. Even products that some of them you see even in this event, the paper cups that are called paper, they are not as environmentally friendly as they look. Actually, research done here by University of Gothenburg showed that the standard plastic cups can be as toxic as the normal paper cups can be as toxic as the normal plastic cups. The same goes for paper straws, a category that has been emerging, but still they contain a lot of toxic chemicals, PFAS, which is the forever chemicals that contain cancer, and a lot of other issues like hormone and things like that. There is also this debate that we have to switch everything to reusable, and that will solve the problem. This is a result of a life cycle analysis that was published and was commissioned by European Commission, certified, and showing that single-use paper-based packaging, for example, can have the lowest environmental impact. As you see here, switching to reusable wouldn't solve the problem because you need more water, energy, chemicals, logistics, and so on. And then when that happens, also your food that you order, if it is only reusables, it will be done in plastics. Again, recent studies show that the microplastic come to your body. We are plastic-free. We are on a mission to change this because this is something that has going on for a long time. And during the past decade, we've developed a breakthrough technology that eliminates toxic chemicals, works on existing machinery, and reduce costs. That's why PlasticFri has been awarded as the world's most innovative sustainability startup among more than 1,400 companies worldwide. Thank you. So basically what we do, we use renewable plant resources coming from agricultural waste, non-edible plant, and wood fiber. Then through a unique process, we make different plastic-free products. Here you can see some examples from our product portfolio that have the highest impact on a daily basis. We have two categories of the products. The ones that you see down there, we call them film-based application areas, where we do more of a flexible packaging. We have different types of bags and apron and so on. Then we have the ones that you see up there, fiber-based category, that we have both food and non-food products such as e-commerce mailers, cups, straws, and lid, among other things. What you see on the screen, for example, is our e-commerce mailers. This is a 100% paper product. It is certified both plastic-free and recyclable as paper in a normal paper recycling stream. But it is very strong. It doesn't need any lamination, unlike anything else that is existing on the market. The whole supply chain is built here in Europe. Manufacturing runs on 100% renewable energy, and the product performance is superior. We launched commercially in the beginning of last year. We have sold several million products during a very short period of time. And the reason for that is that because our technology is highly scalable, we are using the existing machines for manufacturing. We also have the toughest certification standards and a very strong intellectual property portfolio, including patents, trademark, trade secret, production protocols, and certifications. And of course, we are an impact company. We save a lot of water and a lot of CO2 during our process. Of course, there is competition, but no one has succeeded to solve sustainability at a reasonable cost. With PlasticFri, we've succeeded to bridge this gap by maximizing the bio-based content and reducing the cost. As you can see here, this is a third-party study done by a very prestigious research lab in the United States, showing the product. It's a field testing, so it's not only in the lab, showing the product break down completely without leaving any traces of bioplastics in a short period of time. It's a 600 billion euro industry. Looking at the market right now, bioplastics have only 1% of the total market share, which means there is a huge potential. And we believe that we have a great position to influence this market. We have a B2B business model. We sell finished products, and then focusing right now on these customer segments, wholesalers, retailers, brand owners, and distributors. Because of its scientific novelty and the impact that we are creating, we've been fortunate enough and humbled enough to get a lot of attention, a lot of support. For example, Entrepreneurship World Cup, the KPMG Global Innovator of the Year Award, Prince Daniel Fellowship, and so on. We also have got a lot of attention on the press, like BBC, Forbes, and CNN. Right now, we're looking for strategic partners who can support us to scale up the impact that we're creating to beyond the geographies that we are focusing on by helping us in market access, funding, and also we're hiring new team members. So if you see interest, just come talk to us after the presentation. All of the plastic that has ever been made still exists today. If we continue to use plastic the way we do today, there will be more plastic than fish in our oceans in less than 30 years. I invite you to join us to support us in our mission to stop this. Thank you.
Thank you, Max, and thank you for making our world a little bit better. And what I take with me from your presentation, as you say, your products are substitute to plastics, but still, nevertheless, you don't compromise with quality and you don't compromise with customer experience. And that, I would say, is something unique for sustainable products. And it must be really interesting from an investor side of perspective. So, Oscar and John, is the perception that sustainable products or services are of worse or better quality compared to conventional products? What would you say?
Should I start? Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no, difficult question. I think many of us have tried inferior products. So like the consumer sort of expectation maybe could be that some of them are worse. But as an investor, we have to view your company as a company manufacturing or being part of the supply chain for cups, straws, bags. That is your business. And then how you do it is in a very environmental friendly way. And you're innovative and you have protection for some of your innovation. But that is sort of how you do it. It's not the actual business, because you are competing and you will be competing with other people selling other cups. And they might not be as environmentally friendly, but they are still doing it. So they are still sort of an option. I think society needs to make polluting expensive by changing consumer behavior, but also by making it just expensive, charging or forbidding or however you want to do it. But we need to make sure to drive that agenda, because that definitely helps all the innovative companies that have solved it to do it in a better way.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think I think this leads to sort of it's a fantastic business, but you need to always compete on the same terms. So you need to do really good products. So your products need to be as good or better than the ones existing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I agree. I think in the Nordics, from an investor point of view, there's definitely a preference to invest in sort of companies with a sustainable or impact angle as opposed to not. At the same time, you have this notion of the green premium.
Yeah.
In the end of the day, when a company or a consumer buys something, you have the same expectations of the capabilities of the product or service. You want it to be costing the same or probably less, and yet you want it to have a positive sort of sustainability angle. And I think there's, we're not there yet in some industries, but I think it's definitely becoming better and better. And at the same time, looking at the taxonomy in the EU and sort of the sustainability, wording on that. Now it's a wider term, including, carbon emissions and including, plastics and things like that. So when you create something that is reducing carbon emissions, are you then increasing somewhere else? And I think there is a little bit of a tension, of course, and sort of the holistic view needs to be taken into account. But obviously, attacking plastic pollution as a huge global threat, I think, obviously it has huge impact potential and, very inspiring.
Thank you. And then when it comes to sustainable options and customer experience, when you're investing, are your requirements higher?
Are our requirements higher? In the end of the day, it needs to be a great business. It needs to be, a founder that is passionate to work a lot and put their hearts and mind into something for 7 to 10 years to build a company. And we want to see that. The transition we are in right now, going from a not so sustainable world into a more sustainable, hopefully, it takes time. So maybe you can make some, from the timing aspect, we're not there yet, but over time it definitely needs to be the same requirements. But maybe now we can have a little bit of, okay, we understand it takes a bit longer time to develop certain technologies, to prove, data, prove models that it actually works. And you need to take bet. You need to bet on that it's going to work. And that takes longer, and it takes more risk sometimes. But in the end of the day, it needs to be the same requirements, I would say.
I think in general, over the whole ecosystem of investors, the clearer sustainability angle you have, the more slack you can get, probably, because there are now many investors that only do sustainability or with a very clear sustainability angle. So a lot of money is sort of directed that way. So, which also makes that specific sort of type of investments a little bit more difficult, a bit more competitive. But it's great for all the young companies with innovations in the area. So I think if anything, it's that you could get a little bit more slack. But I think it's the companies addressing sustainability need to do it in a very real way. There needs to be a very, very clear impact to what you are addressing. You need to be able to see the change. So in your case, to see the adoption of your products in a meaningful way that really reduces the plastic amounts put out in the oceans for real. That's when it becomes really interesting from an environmental point of view. And that's also the same day that you'll be celebrating a fantastic company built. So it goes hand in hand.
Yeah, thank you. And Josefine, anything you would like to add from the business side?
A lot of things. Thanks for a great presentation. That is like exactly what we are curious about when we are auditors. It's like seeing and understanding and also working with you and collaborating on how you can reach even further. But in our role, it's also very important to understand all the details so that we, in the same way as the investors, understand the risks and the competition and why you are doing what you're doing, so that we don't, in the end, put our name on something that isn't all that it's made up to be. This is a big deal, and the greenwashing is something that we experience every day, and we have to be aware of it. Yeah.
Thank you. And Max, anything you would like to comment on?
Very good points. Thank you so much for the great feedback. That's exactly also the approach we took from the technical perspective. So we spent a lot of time, energy, and investments to get those third-party verifications and certifications in place to eliminate the risk of greenwashing, but also on the competition side, for example, we worked on upscaling of the technology before even launching, which is very unconventional. So already today, we are competing at the same par levels of some of the products we are offering. So I think it's the three pillars that we are looking at. It's sustainability, true sustainability, price, and performance. And everybody else on a competitive landscape, including plastic itself, they fall short at least in one of those three. So plastic is performance base is great and is cheap, but sustainability is not there. And then you have a lot of other startups or research. So we checked all the three boxes for the first time, at least on the industrial scale. And then when it comes to the sustainability aspect of this, we already have the toughest certification standards, and this has become our sales tool today without we knowing it from the beginning. We just wanted to do this in the correct or in the right way, but then of course it's now paying it back in terms of building a scalable business model and then taking market share quickly, and then creating impact means making more money for the company, and then you can just scale it up. So it's really hand in hand, but it's not also a very usual or standard way of working, of course, I understand.
Yeah.
And you were touching upon it, Oscar and John, that driving the sustainability agenda and creating a sustainable business model might take more than what you have estimated in the beginning. Like investments, it can take more time before you actually get something out of it. Is it always the case, or do you see sustainable business ideas that kind of goes like this?
Yeah, I mean, the absolutely best companies in this area, they do not take longer, obviously. They ride on a regulatory certification or similar sort of wave, or just by markets changing, people no longer buying a specific type of product, for example, or something. So there is a shift. So the real demand is already there. And that is the best case. So you build a company on a new platform, a new fundamental basis that is environmentally friendly and sustainable, and the demand is already there. The demand has already shifted. So the best thing we can do is really to shift demand by new certifications, by consumer behavior and all these things, so that it doesn't take longer. And we no longer have to talk about these sustainability companies getting more soft money, longer runways, etc., because that is artificial sort of breathing. They need to be doing extremely well to do good. That is the best recipe to have impact, is to do stellar performance in your company.
Yeah, I think it's a great question, and whether it's a sustainable company or not, I think it has more to do the type of technology and the type of thesis that the company wants to prove. Let's say that you have a very sort of research-heavy business that is depending on years and years of research. You need to have a patent. Then that phase might obviously take a long time.
Yeah.
But once you go to market, it might actually be quicker than other companies that wouldn't be sustainable or wouldn't use that kind of technology. You know, comparing software with more sort of hardware deep tech companies, I think there has been a notion that deep tech takes longer time, it's sort of slower payback and such. I mean, we learned yesterday in a deep tech panel that that might not be the case actually. It's more on the early phase and the research phase and the build-up before you go to market. And once you go to market, it might actually be quicker because you can deploy it globally from that day.
Yeah.
So to answer your questions, I don't think that that's the case, that it's always like that. It has more to do with the use of the technology and the go-to-market and scale-up, I would say.
Okay, interesting. And a bit of delicate question maybe. We talked before this session, you and the four of us talked about investing in oil companies. We have now talked about investing in sustainable business models like PlasticFri, but we also discussed oil companies as an example. Would you invest in them at the moment?
We wouldn't invest in an oil company, no. Would we invest in a technology that could, you know, help offshore platforms be better at, you know, diminishing their pollutions? Yes. So it would be sort of auxiliary services that could help them become better, for
Like
example.
supporting.
But we wouldn't. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know, sort of third step from that. But yeah, would you?
No, we are set up as a proud Article 8 sustainability is very core to what we do. So we cannot support oil industry's growth. That's not really what we are doing. I really don't think it's sort of a future business either. So we always like to see a tailwind behind what we invest in. There needs to be behavioral shifts, technology trends, business models supporting a sort of something new and something changing in the right direction. And I think for oil industry, it will be going in the sort of the other direction, hopefully. So could there be technology that could have a dual use for various sort of offshore purposes? Yes, of course, it could be. It could still be something interesting. But I think there's we still in the EU subsidize carbon fuel for hundreds of billions of euro. So we still push in a lot of money into the oil industry, and that needs to change as well. So.
But to summarize, invest in something that is kind of helping the shift towards something more sustainable.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
sure.
I mean, ideally, if somebody solves something that has been running on gas, coal, that's great. That's a great shift, and people will love that. Yeah.
Thank you. And if changing the topic a bit, Max, when you are looking for investors and service providers, what are you actually looking for? What are the deal breakers and what are the superpowers that is the key for you?
Great question. So I think I want to take one step back, say we are solving a systematic problem and it needs a systematic solution. So our technology is part of this systematic solution, but it needs collaborative effort. So several of the companies that are here or organizations that are here today have been part of helping us. KPMG is one of them, Almi Invest, EIT Manufacturing, SEB. So there are those partners that have helped us, for example, in the early stages or later stages. But then when it comes to pure, say, financial investment, then of course we see that as a very long-term type of marriage that we will have with that partner. So it should be at least similar vision or similar reasoning that we have. We do this because we want to change a very traditional industry. It's a huge problem, and everybody can say, okay, somebody should come and solve this. And we want to be that somebody. We want to create this category that doesn't even exist or hasn't existed before. So we are creating our own category. So the bottom line is that the investor profile should be in a way that they have at least the impact or the smart capital kind of profile that is beyond just the financial contribution, because we would need the help or the support from a network perspective. And we actually raised our latest round back in last year of Northern Launcher, which is an impact fund. And that's where also we saw that this match is there. That
you get the support.
Yeah, we get the support that is beyond the capital that would be needed to take the company to the next level.
Any comments from Josefine or Oscar?
Yeah, I'm wondering more from the investor's perspective. When you are in the conversations with your potential new businesses and you are seeing what they want, there's the saying that you can have anything but you can't have it all. What is it that often has to go or that they can't have?
You mean that the entrepreneur can't get sort of the expertise and the money and the engagement?
You know, the whole pack. You have to, you know.
I think ideally they could get all of that. I think many good entrepreneurs, they have a very large part of what they need in terms of execution within their team. And I always tell entrepreneurs never to overestimate what you get in terms of time and support from your investors. There are things that the investors can do. There are some real door-opening activities for other investors, for example, but it's, as we heard from Staffan from Creandum yesterday, that it is all about the entrepreneurs. It's really them building the value. So best thing we can do if it's a really good team is to stay out of the way and be supportive, trusting, showing, being very clear with our ability to support financially, our interest to follow on invest and making that available, sort of only the sort of feeding what is already good, maybe open a few doors, and that is sort of the typical support that we would give a really good team. But then there could be a rainy day when you need some extra specific something, and then we have the tools for that as well. So, and yeah, I know, Oscar, you invest a bit earlier than I do.
Yep.
And the younger teams tend to need a bit more support. You even help establish founder teams as well, right?
Exactly. I mean, we, since we're a day zero investor, we help founders meet each other, work on their business ideas, validate them, put the go-to-market strategy together, and then help them into the introductions to investors. We're also the first investor in these companies. So at that stage, obviously they need a lot of support, or at least guidance. But it's I agree with John that they build their own companies, but we're happy to be there as a platform to scale internationally. Antler is in 28 locations around the world with a pretty good network. Provide them with the capital they need and the introductions they need. Since we have 180 companies in our portfolio so forth, we can't support all the companies every day, but luckily all of them don't need support every day. But that's sort of favorite part of my job, is to work with founders and support them as much as I can.
So it seems like you're quite aligned in what you're searching for and what you want to give all the startups and scale-ups you're meeting. Thank you for a really interesting and relevant discussions regarding the topic, having global sustainability as a business model. Before we end, do you have any closing remarks for the audience to take with them?
You can start.
Something you want to say?
Yeah, I mean, it hasn't been a more exciting time to build a company than now, for many reasons. I mean, where we are in the sort of macro cycle, big challenges to solve. There's capital out there to be invested, and especially in companies like Max, solving the big challenges of tomorrow. So I think there's a lot of excitement that I look forward to.
Yeah, I completely agree. There is money out there. Anybody saying that it's so tough to raise money now, they probably only have sort of the last 5 years in mind, where it's been quite easy. So now it's more back to normal, I'd say. So there is money out there. Good companies can definitely raise money from really good investors. I think there are more talented investors available now than any time before. And even more importantly, if you're building a company, now you can access talent. There are really talented CXOs, co-founders that would be happy to leave whatever big firm they're on to join your startup. If they get a few % of the firm as option packages, they can work for lower salary for a few years to be part of that journey. This is the type of times when really good companies are built. And just on the topic of sustainability and impact, I think your key driver to actually achieving sustainability impact is by doing extremely well. So build a very successful company, and then you apply all your business ethics and all the other things so that you do really, really good impact.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Do you want to say something quite shortly, Max? Or
Just thank you for this opportunity, and I invite everyone who is interested or can support us in any ways to contact us.
And I'm just going to end to say that it's been really inspiring to be around both you as investors and Max. I can see the fire in your eyes, and I would like to be part of a journey, and I think that we all do, and I believe that the superheroes as we are, if we can do it together. If we are seen by the traits and capabilities we have, even the sky is no limit, so we can do anything. Please come and talk to us at our monter, the booth, KPMG booth, where you can have an ice cream with us. So thank you so much. And now it's time for the next session, Endgame, Exit Strategies for Startup Investors with Evelina Antilla.